adventure in the great white somewhere. I want it more than I can tell, and for once it might be grand to have someone understand. I want so much more than they've got planned, so much more than they've got planned. Hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream in my cardigan. Welcome to the land of famous X. Woo! Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the taxi man turned on the radio and the CP song was on. Yeah, when I grew up, you know what I wanna be? Take a seat, let me tell you my ridiculous dreams. I wanna rap. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe, and I can tell you already thinking I would never succeed. I know this probably isn't really real. No, it's not. And honestly, I might not never make a difference. But that don't make a difference. I'ma have to risk it. I've been crunching numbers. You ain't gotta be a mathematician. The city eyes ain't blue for me. I can't lie though. It's kinda how I like it to be. I'ma make them notice me, rhyming like it's poetry. Those of you that don't believe, quiet or no. Quiet when I'm trying to sing, quiet when I'm making beats, quiet when I'm trying to think. Sorry, I don't mean to scream. Could even be up on the radio, having tour bus and maybe even play a couple shows. Everybody in the crowd singing every word over. Man, I make a lot of dough, but I'ma have to try it though. I wanna be famous, I wanna be a star, I wanna be a movie. I wanna see the world, drive nice cars, I wanna have groupies. Be on TV, people know me, be in magazines. Fresh and clean, rapping CP, when I step out on the scene. I'm a trendsetter. Yes, this is true, cause what I do, no one can do it better. You can talk about me, cause I'm a hot topic. I see you watching me, watching me, watching me, watching me, watching me. When I grow up, I just wanna pay my bills, talking about the way I feel. When I grow up, I just wanna make a couple meal, leave it to the fam in the wheel. When I grow up, I just wanna sign a record deal, maybe buy a house up in the hills. When I grow up, CP, when I grow up.
Once again, those are the counterpoints from North Central High School of Indianapolis. I think we can see why they've claimed the title of our nation's top performance show choir. Oh, by the way, we should mention we've only brought 16 performers for you tonight. In reality, this amazing and talented show choir is 60 members strong, and our ballroom is too small to stage them all. We also want to thank their director, Michael Ronick, who you met earlier this evening, for being a true champion for music education in our public schools. As you will remember, I began the evening by answering one of the questions I'm often asked as a son of Justice Thurgood Marshall. Well, one more of those questions is how I would describe my father's role in our nation's history. To answer that question, I often use the words of one of my dad's colleagues on the bench, a close and dear friend, and our nation's first female Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. Justice O'Connor said the following in describing my dad. His was the mouth of a man, his was the eye of a man who saw the deepest wounds in our social fabric and used the law to heal them. His was the ear of a counselor who understood the vulnerabilities of the accused and established safeguards for their protection. His was the mouth of a man who knew the anguish of the silenced and gave them a voice. No one could avoid being touched by his soul. I'm blessed to have opportunities to speak with our young people around the country, and I often use that very quote. But I change it up, using it as sort of a template. And this is a message that I leave with our young people. Yours are the eyes of students who see in front of you doors of opportunity. Use your education to open those doors. Yours are the ears of scholars who often hear that much is expected of you. Remember, it's not enough to just succeed, you must excel. Yours are the mouths of our next generation of leaders who understand that your voices are important. Speak up, speak out, and our nation and our world will not be able to avoid being touched by your souls. Educators, teachers, all of you that play a part in our children's educational experience, it's you that breathe life into those very words. By not only teaching our children, your students, but by enabling them to grow as individuals and go on to do amazing things. Please know that you and all that you do is not taken for granted. In 2017, Chadwick Boseman played my dad as a young attorney in the movie Marshall. And that movie featured a song titled Stand Up for Something, sung beautifully by Andra Day. The lyrics go like this, and please don't worry, in particular with the counterpoints, I'm not singing tonight. You can have all the money in your hands, all the possessions anyone can ever have, but it's all worthless treasure. You can have all the money, but all that matters is what's in your heart. You can have everything, but what does it mean? It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk. You've got to walk the walk. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Ladies and gentlemen, I salute you. We all salute you, and we say a heartfelt thanks for always walking the walk, not just talking the talk. We thank you for always standing up for something, and that something is education. We thank you for always standing up for our children. We know you do, we know you will, we know you always will. You are not just education champions. You truly are our nation's champions, and I thank you.
Thank you, John, for those remarks and for being here tonight to represent not only the legacy, but the continuing struggle for education justice in this nation. And now, everyone, for our fourth Horace Mann awardee.
If somebody had told me 5 years ago, I'm going to take your struggling reader and in a week, I'm going to turn them into the expert reader amongst their peers, I wouldn't have believed that.
We've chosen this life to serve, and we've moved our families abroad. I have 3 kids. All 3 of them have made it very clear. Dad, you can't tell anybody it was easy.
Most military brats move up to 10 times in their school career.
It takes somebody special to be able to deal with a kid that has dealt with those challenges of multiple moves and changes of friends.
It's especially important in intervention services that we hit the nail on the head and we do it quickly, because we're not guaranteed that kiddo is going to be here for an extended period of time. She swallowed the bird to catch the spider that wriggled and jiggled and wiggled inside her.
Swallowed the spider to catch the fly.
We use a lot of tactile input. 2, vowels, walking. The first one does the talking. Good job. On your own. Anything that we can do to get those neural pathways sparked and going, I'm in. I always thought that I would be a string teacher. But the opportunities that Dodea has given me as a teacher have allowed me to see things in a new light across subject content areas. Sound.
And musicians are used to reading symbols on a page and translating that to sound. Letters are symbols on a page. And then the student has to transfer a symbol to the sound it makes.
Tell me all the sounds in cute. My turn. That's what we teach in music education. It's also what we teach in reading. There was an old lady who swallowed a dog.
Swallowed the dog to catch the cat. I don't know why she swallowed that fly.
Oh my, oh my. You've worked hard. Okay, remember?
Patricia exemplifies all the teachers in Dodea in meeting those needs of the students where they are.
Real close. Ooh, ah, In the past 5 years, we've started doing something called front loading at this school. The card is plant. Card. I, in pull-out services, deliver the lesson that the child is going to receive the following week in the homeroom with their teacher.
Miss Hannon has been working with Jeremy since last year. He had come home one day and he had said, "Mommy, do you think I'm stupid?"
And I hear that all the time when I start working with students. And as heartbreaking as that can be, my heartbreak doesn't serve them at all. My action will.
Her sight words, her one-on-one working with him, it's made a big change.
When I just first started it, I was not very good. Then I done it and done it and done it, and then I got better and better and better.
Kids that now view themselves as readers that really did not have that same feeling about themselves. And that's pretty important because it's all about their self-esteem.
And this has been by far the intervention technique that's had the most impact on our struggling learners.
I think Patricia is the perfect example of the unsung heroes inside of our schools. Everything she does is behind the scenes, but without her, the scenes wouldn't work.
My whole job is to hold them to the light, and hopefully they can find the light on their own after they leave.
From the Federal Education Association, Patricia Hannon accompanied by State President Brian Chance. Our fifth and final honoree.
If you highlight Germany, Japan, and Italy and do your Control C, I think teaching in general is just an extremely rewarding profession. Good teachers make you want to be a teacher. At least that's what happened with me.
Miss Jernigan was my 5th grade reading teacher, and she was just phenomenal. She had a relationship with each and every one of her students.
I've never really had teachers like her. Going to her classroom made me feel like I had a safe place.
If you ever said hello to her, she'll give you a smile that'll make you feel like school is your home.
Her passion for the classroom and students and education as a whole, it's just contagious, and you can't help but jump on that train with her.
Ready, set, go. The rallies that we have here at North Intermediate were centered around the philosophy that we should celebrate academics with the same enthusiasm and energy that we celebrate athletics. Not only do we recognize students who make the honor roll, we also recognize students who have persevered and made incredible progress. I think it's important to give them a minute to just be kids. Young kids definitely need time to move around, and a lot of them learn in a kinesthetic way. If you can structure your classroom in a way that allows them to get up and move around a little bit and interact with each other, they're going to be more focused and ready to learn.
She showed us ways that we could learn language arts and writing, better ways than I've ever learned it.
I think educators, we really have to shift our focus from being the giver of knowledge to a facilitator of learning.
When she came out of the classroom to be our district director of school and community engagement, she was an obvious pick for us.
Once I became informed about what was happening, especially at the legislative level and the decisions that were being made, advocating at the state level was not an option anymore. I mean, it was an obligation, because those decisions have a direct impact on the kids we serve every day.
And that's just the perfect place for her, because she knows what it's like to be in the classroom, and then she has a very good relationship with others.
People regard her with high integrity, they trust her, and so I think it gives her the ability to bring lots of different groups together.
She's a fierce advocate for our public schools in Oklahoma, and she doesn't just talk about it, she does the work.
Anytime I've ever gone to anything that involves Bigsby Public Schools in the community, there she is.
She will organize these trips and get parents and teachers and administrators to travel together to the Capitol so that the legislators can see us as a unified group.
We spoke with our representatives and our senators, just talking about how we can better education in the state of Oklahoma. We talked about funding our classrooms.
She played a role of getting, over the last 2 years, $650 million back into public education in Oklahoma.
She's fighting for my kids, and she's fighting for my friends' kids, and she's fighting for kids that aren't even in our school districts.
When I look back and I really think about my students, that's what keeps my energy up, keeps me persevering in this fight for public ed, is that they're counting on us. And they are the reason that I'm doing this. It's just something that I won't ever stop fighting for.
From the Oklahoma Education Association, Jessica Jernigan, accompanied by State President Alicia Priest. think we'd all agree that all 5 of our Horace Mann finalists are certainly worthy of recognition. The NEA Foundation Awards for Teaching Excellence are presented to recognize educators from across the country for their professional practice, advocacy for the teaching profession, attention to diversity, community and parental engagement, and commitment to professional development. And that sets up another champion and program we recognize and celebrate tonight.
Stephanie has come a long, long way, and so have we. I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, for all of your ideas and support. I'll see you next time. Now that was terrific. In my 10 years at this school, I've met a lot of parents, those who are here at every possible opportunity, those whose work schedules keep them from taking an active role, and those who, for whatever reason, just don't feel comfortable coming to the school, donuts or no donuts. A few years back, my coworkers and I got together to talk about what we could do to make a difference and how we might be able to gather information, tools, and strategies, just ideas that we could send home to support our students' growth. And the school system supported us, giving us the time we needed in our schedules to do these meetings. We started talking and collaborating, and then we reached out to a few parents to start building better relationships with them. At first, we thought we could enable families to make greater contributions to our students' growth. And you know what happened? We found that parents had at least as much to share with us as we did with them. The more time we invested, the more we learned. We learned to talk with parents rather than at them, and to work as partners on new solutions. I don't mean to sound Pollyannish. It wasn't always easy. Both we and the parents had to find ways to build trust. We had to see and understand each other's perspective. But now I talk to the Thompsons regularly, and not just about what goes on in the classroom, but about their daughter's life and how it affects how she comes to school. We've actually started to see ourselves as a team, a true team. We've actually started to co-create new strategies, and the kids' grades and their focus in class has improved dramatically. And I'll tell you something else. I am a better educator. Stephanie, for instance, is a better student, and her parents are happy with her and our relationship. They even more, enjoy the whole direction in which our teamwork approach is headed. And neither the Thompsons nor I are unique. My colleagues are discovering the same thing. Well, this has been a terrific night. But it's time for another student. Mine. My son and I take a mindfulness class led by one of our great phys ed teachers here. And let me tell you, it's made a big difference in my life. Listen, it's been great talking to you, but I have to go, and you have to finish your dinner.